Hey everyone, RemanX here with hot off the presses Weapon X information. Silver Samurai is coming to the game, and we're going to have all the information on this team coming in this video. We're going to showcase the Heroes for Hire footage. We're going to talk about whether or not they're going to be the true counter, whether or not I recommend using them on offense, defense, their actual G13 uniques, and all this information packed in, so don't go anywhere. Stay to the end. There's some cool info down the road for you. Silver Samurai is a mutant protector, and I think it's a very interesting kit that honors his comic persona and powers very, very well. So we're going to start with the passive. There's some specific war bonuses, but it's going to be utilizing charges. Now, these charges are going to help remove negative effects, and it's a big deal. Plus, he's going to be doing more damage per charge, so his initial attack. Now, remember, one thing that's really cool about this is he has the ability with his ultimate to be a lot like Black Bolt, which is going to be important for the Heroes for Hire. Characters healed by this attack cannot be revived. This attack is an unavoidable and cannot be blocked. So something I want you guys to understand is this is potentially if somebody has a, I don't know, Nebula or Gamora, and you want to finish them off. More importantly, this happens against Heroes for Hire and can immediately end the team. It takes away all the powers of the charge. So remember that's going to be one of his best functions, is going to be using him as a finisher against his team, okay? You'll see that his special is a taunt ability, gain +3 counter, plus deflect up to maximum 5, apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all Weapon X allies, bury yourself and all Weapon X allies for 20% of this character's max health, flip counter on the primary target, and attack primary and adjacent targets for 250% piercing and apply offense down. So there's going to be a scenario where you're going to decide whether or not you want a special or ult first. And it's going to be against the different teams. This allows you the flexibility to use these as a different counters for different scenarios. We're going to go through the best, in my opinion, when we take them against Heroes for Hire when the full team hits the field. But, by the way, there's some important reworks here, and we're going to get into those in just a moment. Okay. So developers go through some of the notes, and I actually like this a lot. They kind of give us their thoughts and defining traits, high focus, and hit points. Silver Samurai has good health and armor. These are further enhanced by his passive armor bonus. So a character like this that gets that extra armor, if he has a high base armor, it becomes just, the damage becomes negligible unless it's piercing. And then all Silver Samurai attacks deal piercing damage with even more bonus damage based on charged attacks. Silver Samurai has several mechanics that work off his charge mechanics. Managing his charge to fuel the survival and damage is key to mastering him. So I think it's going to be a fun character to kind of play with. And then Striker feels tactical on Silver Surfer, has a high chance to assist with his Weapon X allies. And who does this character work best with, and why? Silver Surfer gets bonus for each Weapon X ally he fights with. So I think there is some potential with the stun on the first turn that you may use him as a one-off in some of the mutant nodes going forward. We'll have to see if that happens with the patch. Building him up quickly enough to get him into the field for 2.0 may be a bit of a challenge. That being said, Mutant Protector, lock that in, and if you have more questions, I'll be showcasing this all on Twitch later on today. All right, so we have the kits for Omega Red. We have the kits for Lady Deathstrike. We'll have some footage to kind of show you the speeds on some of these guys, but we're going to go right into Wolverine. Increased base health stat by 23%. Base damage stat by 45%, base armor by 500%. You'll see focus and resist went up by a big deal, and then a 23% speed increase. So I'm hoping these are enough, but you'll watch the team in action and get an idea of the power levels coming up soon. All right, so there's been a few changes to his kit. Okay, so the old basic, okay, and special and passive. All right, so now he'll gain speed up in war with his basic, so kind of feel like probably the best way to talk about it, I'll probably feel a lot like Nebula. Okay, and then you'll have the primary target for 400% piercing plus apply 2 bleed, a rebound chain effect for 5 targets plus apply 2 bleed, and then all secondary attacks have a 100% chance to crit. All right, so crit and crit damage are going to be important. If this character has max health, remember the ultimate will gain offense up, so he still gains that, and then he'll always gain it if you're using Omega Red. So you'll see this is that fastball special when it's applied with Colossus. We'll have to see what the animation looks like in game with Omega Red. And again, unavoidable and cannot be blocked. Healing factor. On turn, heal for 20% of this character's max health, and then on dropping below 60% health, gain offense up and 2 death proof. Pretty cool. On death, 5% chance to revive with 50% of this character's max health. Okay, and then if at least one ally is Weapon X, gain an additional 5% chance to revive. While under 50% health, gain 100% block chance. So reducing that damage for quite a bit. Getting those adamantium claws up to protect him from taking lethal damage. And then you gain additional speed per Weapon X allies. And it's applied after any character takes action. So think of it like the Daredevil ability. Kind of cool. We'll have to see how it works out, but it gives him speed and conditional speed that'll be enhanced on teams. So there's definitely a possibility that we may see some hybrid teams in other game modes, but stay tuned. So Sabretooth, base health stat increased by 53%, base damage by 56%, base armor by 140%, base focus by 33%, base resist by 140%, and increased base speed stat by 15%. He is going to be a little bit of a monster here. And then you'll see the old abilities here, so we're going to go right into the new. Attack primary target for 340% damage, plus flip defense up. In war, it'll also apply offense down to primary target, and this attack gains 500% focus. So out of the gate, day one, he is going to be an instant slot in on your Marauders until this team takes shape. So it's going to be a lot of fun to both play with him on offense and defense, because he is going to be an absolute monster. Attack primary target for 460% damage, plus 80% piercing, plus apply offense down. Attack all adjacent targets for 320% damage. Okay, and also apply offense down, and then Omega Red as an ally. This attack does an additional 80% piercing to each target, and it cannot be blocked. And then the ultimate is now a rebound chain, okay, which can decimate enemy forces. All right, and if Omega Red as an ally, apply disrupt to each hero protector target. This is important with this 1000% extra focus. So this is going to be specifically good against Heroes for Hire, and we're going to see this in action. And then it cannot be blocked or counterattacked. That cannot be blocked means that the disrupt should not be resisted, but we'll stay tuned to make sure that's the case. It should not be subject to a resist check, the block check. On turn, heal 15% of this character's max health. Okay, when this character drops below 60% health, sound familiar, gain 2 death proof and 2 deflect. Gain 5% damage per Brotherhood mutant or Weapon X ally. If Mr. Sinister or Omega Red is an ally, gain 20% crit chance. And then on War, on spawn, if Wolverine is present, fill speed bar by 20%. And then gain 25% to assist on non-attack allies and 25% chance to assist per Marauder's ally. So going to be kind of a fun character to play in a lot of different game modes. Doesn't get that assist for Weapon X, but it might not matter. Let's start with a little bit of footage we have here for you. We're going to start with just really quickly, we'll start with their the Heroes for Hire. I think that's what you guys are here for, and then we'll talk about them on defense against certain teams here. So Heroes for Hire, they're obviously going to drop in, and instantly you'll see that their passive for Omega Red will trigger, applying trauma to the opposing team. And we're going to be checking really quickly just to make sure the obviously it's very, very smart. You'll see the ability block goes out. All right. And so we're kind of watching. These are probably 4-star, 4 red. I don't have that information about what this team is built on, but they're a mirror match as far as power level to kind of showcase them, because they don't want to imbalance the team so that one team is stronger than the other. So they're basically the same stars and red stars. You can see there's still a ton of damage going to that team, but what's interesting about that is you could see just how powerful Omega Red is. Omega Red is almost soloing the entire Heroes for Hire team. And so this is the concern. There's a little bit of a concern here that Silver Samurai has a little bit of a vulnerability. Maybe I would have used a different, honestly, the skills here. So it may be a hard check as far as power level, but I don't think that Silver Samurai is the ending piece to this puzzle. You know, you're using him as a presence of him, I think, to enable all the 4 heroes for hire ally or hero Weapon X conditions to make sure that works. And so you'll see that he is on the hairy edge of death, but Wolverine going in, and you'll see just some of that damage is pretty powerful. And you'll see they have just applying debuffs. Those bleeds are insane, getting those defense down. All right. And you'll see that this team is already on the ropes. I mean, once you get Luke Cage down, the bleeds just finish off Misty Knight. And then if Silver Samurai gets an attack over here, he can just end the existence of these characters. So there's that taunt. And so he's got a pretty high barrier, because you can see it's barely even touched. So each time this team takes a turn, he's getting additional barrier back. So it's really not even close. I'm super impressed by the potential power of this team, but we're gonna have to see if power levels change, because we're seeing some really high star and high red star heroes for hire on defense, because they sold us that 6-star offer, because a lot of people invested in the team to get through Gamma and additional nodes, and more importantly, that they are still a force to be reckoned with. So, all right, guys. So while this is playing out, obviously it's really, really close. It looks like Heroes for Hire has a chance here, so give it a few seconds. I want to go over a couple of quick factors here, and so we're going to talk about specifically the. So I just want to go over the unique 13s that'll go on your characters here. So what the plan for building up the characters. Obviously we have some already on our roster. So let's go into this. We've got, Omega Red will take Superior Carbonadium, which we checked off. Lady Deathstrike will take Superior Adamantium, which we can check off the list. And then Silver Samurai will take Superior Titanium Alloy. So I think we hit all 3 when we were doing speculation on the stream earlier this week. So Carbonadium for Omega Red, Adamantium for Lady Deathstrike, and Silver Samurai will take Titanium Alloy. So stay tuned. We'll definitely have to take a look and see how that finishes out over the next few days here. So let's take a look at them on defense. I think it's interesting to kind of take a look, only because that's a question I get, is like, who beats them on defense. So we're going to take a look at them at Black Order, and because Black Order is probably, one of the old Apex teams. They were able to beat a lot of teams. So you can see right off the bat, you can see how that's impacted them. You see Thanos going first still, and they're already well below their normal threshold. So Thanos is going to be able to flip some of those, or will he? And because of the fact that basically you could see that it is preventing the flipping is literally a mechanic that just destroys Black Order. He's not able to get his flip, so it's almost irrelevant because of the trauma being applied. And because these guys haven't taken a turn, and it's all been Thanos, because they get sped up from the additional team taking a turn, there's almost no chance for them to get into their sweet spot to start doing damage. And you can see that Thanos already ulted, and it was relatively insignificant on the enemy team. These guys have offense down, but are ripping through Cole's defenses. So something to be aware of. And so the only concern we'd ever have is somehow if they got low, but because of their passive healing and their speed, this speed up doesn't do that much at all. And again, all the big damage from the team is gone. And so you'll see that there's definitely some potential there. Probably would have maybe stunned Omega Red, just because Omega Red in the field is dangerous. And you'll see that the extra damage from Wolverine comes in. And I am sure that even with a few plays that I might have changed differently, there is not much you could do to stop this onslaught. And look at all that damage that Silver Samurai just does because of those charges. Anyway, guys, Stay tuned. Love you much. If you guys have any more questions, I'll show you guys the roster photos here to get an idea of speed, because I know that's one of the things we like to dissect here. We'll get right to it. We'll take a look. So we'll have all of the stats here, and we'll see. So at 4 red, all right, so let's take a look. G15, right? At 4 red, 7-star, 457, 223k damage, 27 armor. The armor on him is exceptional. He's just going to be his tachyon particles are filling that armor with just making him nearly invulnerable. That is a lot of armor on a character. And then we'll take a look at Lady Deathstrike, so you can take a look at her speed as well and her damage. You see 15, 4 red. You'll see that she's got 365k health, 30k damage, so right up in the top tier of the categories, and 14k armor. So she'll still be getting an additional armor from Silver Samurai. So is this an Apex War team? Stay tuned. We'll definitely have it being showcased on during the week when Omega Red comes at the end of the patch, and we'll see how each character slots in for the raid. Stay tuned.